Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United FIFA 19 player ratings have been leaked. Now, what a season it was for Manchester United last season. I joke, but having said that, on paper, second place in the league could mean to some players maybe getting a player ratings boost, and some certainly have. There are some surprises in there, but also let's not forget there could be some late changes from FIFA over the next few weeks, which has me thinking that maybe some of these United players are a little bit like Hans Gruber at the end of Die Hard. They're hanging on to whatever points they have. I think it's only going to get worse for them. But let's start off, and maybe, well, let's not lie, he will be the best ranked player for Manchester United in the FIFA 19 games. That is Sir Mr. David De Gea. So David De Gea, what did he get last year? Last year he got 90. Is he worthy of an increase on that? The best goalkeeper in the world. Not a great World Cup. Poor game against Brighton, but player of the year for Manchester United last season. He has received a boost. He's gone up from 90 to 91. And I don't think there's any problems with that with David De Gea. Best goalkeeper in the world, like I say. And, you know, Manchester United were a defensive side last year and David De Gea did shine. So I think FIFA have got it right when it comes to David De Gea. But what about our right back, Antonio Valencia? Last year, he was on 83, which some people might say is a little bit generous. There has been a drop-off. And again, I think that is quite accurate. Valencia is an 82. So, a slight drop-off for Antonio Valencia, captain of Manchester United. But, yeah, he's on the decline slightly. So, 82, I think, you know, is probably a little bit more than he probably deserves. I probably would have knocked him down to an 80. But, interesting, even if you're not a FIFA player, this is sort of like, there's a lot of time and effort goes into these FIFA rankings. And some of the players get very frustrated by them. But it is indicative of how United are perceived. Anyway, left back, Ashley Young. Ashley Young last season was 75. Sit down, have a cup of tea and take a few deep breaths. This is going to knock you off your chair. He's gone from 75 to 80. Stunned. Absolutely stunned. 75 to 80 for Ashley Young, who is 33 now. Not a very good left back. 75 to 80. I'll leave it with you. I'm absolutely stunned about that one. Ashley Young's gone up by 5 to 80. No. I think this is all on the Mo Salah performance. I think FIFA just watched that game, and because he pocketed Mo Salah, who granted is the best player in the Premier League, that's probably where Ashley Young's 5 points boost has come from. Anyway, moving on to the defence. Eric Bailly. Last season, Eric Bailly was on 84. He has dropped to 82, which I think actually when you look at last season for Eric Bailly, we all talk about Eric Bailly, don't we, and his great potential at Manchester United. Injured a lot last season, so 84 to 82, I think is a little bit of a kick up the backside. He started this season okay, 1 good game, 1 terrible game, so 82 for Bailly. Should be about, I'm going to live with that and say, yeah, he needs consistency of performance and he needs to stay injury free. So I'd be more than happy to say that when it comes to Eric Bailly, that is okay. We don't have Lindelof. There's only some players that have been leaked, so we can't tell you what Lindelof's was. But Lindelof last season was on a 79. We can tell you Phil Jones. Phil Jones last season 79. He's gone up to 80. 80 for Phil Jones. Where's that come from then? Why does Phil Jones get a boost? Sat on his arse all World Cup, getting splinters on the bench. And last season, cost us an FA Cup final and about 10 points. But that's still a 1 point increase. I don't agree with the Phil Jones increase. 79, I think, is generous. But he's had an increase up to 80. Well done to Phil Jones. Let's move into the midfield then. Nemanja Matic. We had him last season, 83 for Matic. What do you think about Matic? What would you say Matic deserves after last season? I thought he started the season well, tired towards the end. World Cup wasn't particularly good. Another player with a big boost, 86 for Nemanja Matic, which I think is quite interesting because, again, I think 83 was probably a little bit wrong last season, but I think 86 is a bit too much of a boost, but, you know, up to you. Fred, our new signing, we can't judge him on Manchester United form, lucky boy. 80 last season at Shakhtar Donetsk, knocked up to 82. And I do believe that is a lot to do with his move from Shakhtar Donetsk and his, you know, the season that he had there. So 82 for Fred is actually quite a positive thing. Let's see if he can live up to that this season in a Manchester United shirt because, you know, we're all there watching and waiting to see what happens with him. Romelu Lukaku next. Let's do Lukaku. 86 last season, based on a few seasons scoring a lot of goals. 87 this season, which I think, you know what, when it comes to Romelu Lukaku, he probably just about deserves that. I don't think I can have too many qualms with Romelu Lukaku moving up to an 87. Jesse Lingard, 78 last season for Jesse Lingard. Now, he had that amazing Messi Lingard January. I think a boost was always going to happen. He scored a goal in the World Cup as well. What do you think is a reasonable interpretation of Jesse Lingard's current ability? Well, I can tell you what FIFA think. They've gone for 82. I think a lot of this is probably based on his dancing skills and his social media acumen, of which he is a star. No, I'm only joking. I mean, Lingard probably does deserve an increase from 78. And I think 82 in the context of FIFA is probably about right. You could argue he might have earned a little bit more, especially when Ashley Young's getting a 5-point increase. But yes, not too bad for Jesse, not too bad. Let's have a look at Marcus Rashford then. Again, last season he was on 79. What did he do last year? He scored a couple of good goals. I don't think he had a great season. FIFA have decided to knock him up to 81. 81 for Marcus Rashford, which again is... I can't argue with it. I can't argue with it. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe some of you can, but I can't wait to see a lot of your comments below, actually, as to what you think about some of these player scores, actually. The next one I want to talk about is Alexis Sanchez. Now, Alexis Sanchez, this time last year, had a very good season at Arsenal. We didn't know what was about to come. He was an 89 player. Do you think he has retained 89? Do you think he deserves to have retained 89? Let's not forget he had a bad season for Arsenal until they sold him. And then for United, it didn't get much better. 89 last season. It is a drop. It's a drop to 87. So 87 for Alexis Sanchez, which... you know what? In the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't have a massive issue with that. I think, you know, about right. And that leaves us with Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial, last year 82. This year, what do you think Anthony Martial deserves? Now, let's not forget about Martial. I think the haters are going to say he deserves to go down to 72. He's moody. Just for being moody, he deserves to go down to 72 from 82. Those people who like him, like me, will point to the fact that actually he was Player of the Month 3 times before we bought Sanchez in, and that was a disaster. Didn't go to the World Cup before that, didn't really play the latter half of the season. FIFA still know their biscuits. They've still knocked him up by 1 point from 82 to 83, which, again, I think Martial, Martial for me should be up there 86, 87. That's where Martial should be. And I think when I look at some of these scores again, he would be the one that really stands out for me that needs to be up there around the 87s. And we're not getting the best out of him. And maybe Lingard and Rashford should be doing a little bit better as well. But, you know, Lingard's had a 4-point jump. You can't argue too much about that. So there you have it. There's your leaked FIFA player ratings. David De Gea is still the best player. New second best player is now Pogba because of Sanchez's drop, who puts him down to our third best player. And then we've got a few players, well, Matic is actually our fourth best with 86. And then we've got a few players around the 82, 83 mark with people like Martial, Lingard and Rashford. And Fred. So, De Gea, Pogba, Sanchez, Matic are our top 4 for the FIFA 19 series. Yeah, there may be a little bit of a change, but I doubt it because we're not playing particularly well at the moment. Get your comments in below. Who do you think deserves the player ratings? And the one we don't have is Fellaini. He was 79 last season. I suspect, with a little bit of help from Mourinho and pulling some strings, he could be an 89 player. Who knows? We'll find out when the game's released. But give us your comments below. Drop a like on the video. And remember, if you are watching this on the Sunday, we are live tonight at 8 o'clock as per usual. Get your comments in below. What are your thoughts?